Am I predestined to be making this video, or am I doing it of my own free will? Hi, I'm Ray.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Naomi.
And this is Shreya. Today we're going to be talking about Slaughterhouse-5.
Kurt Vonnegut published Slaughterhouse-5 in 1969, close to the end of the Vietnam War. However, the book centers on Vonnegut's experience in World War II, specifically the bombing of Dresden, an Allied attack on the German city in 1945. The first chapter serves as sort of a prologue from the author, detailing his difficulties in writing the book. Besides being disheartened by seeing the death of thousands of people for no military or strategical reason, he continued to struggle after he came back from the war, and was shocked to find that the Dresden bombing was almost unheard of in America, despite the huge number of casualties. Vonnegut channels many of his war experiences when creating Billy Pilgrim, the fictional main character throughout the novel. Both were drafted into the American Army to serve in World War II. Both were captured and became prisoners of war in Dresden. Both survived the 1945 Dresden bombing by being shut underground in a slaughterhouse where they had been forced to work, and both were forced to clean the city, clearing out thousands of corpses. While Vonnegut and Billy share many of the same experiences, it's important to note that they are not the same person. In fact, Vonnegut inserts himself as a character several times throughout the novel, as a drunk who calls Billy at night, and as a fellow soldier, puking up dinner, or standing in line behind Billy admiring Dresden before it was bombed. There is also a theory that Kilgore Trout, a comically unsuccessful writer who appears in Vonnegut's books, is also based on Vonnegut himself, who struggled to gain popularity during his early days of writing.
The anti-war sentiment presented in Slaughterhouse-5 reflects a larger movement occurring during the mid to late 20th century, known as postmodernism, which, as the name suggests, follows the modernist movement of the late 19th century and early 20th century. The postmodernist era came into existence during the 1960s and was defined by an attitude of skepticism, irony, and rejection toward ideologies. The characteristics of postmodernist literature include experimentation with non-traditional forms, multiple meanings, blurring of reality and fiction, skeptical criticism of society, and irony, all of which can be observed in Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse-5. Many aspects of the book, which we will go into more detail later,
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Such as nonlinear structure, reflect an unconventional method of storytelling, contrasting the traditional form of chronological order, while Vonnegut's portrayal of Kilgore Trout and the Tralfamadorians shows his criticism of humanity.
At first glance, the structure of Slaughterhouse-5 is random, jumping backwards and forwards in time to moments that have nothing to do with each other. The structure of Slaughterhouse-5 is similar to that of the Tralfamadorian books described within it. According to the Tralfamadorians in their books, there isn't any particular relationship between the messages, except that the author has chosen them carefully so that, when seen all at once, they produce an image of life that is beautiful and surprising and deep. There is no beginning, no middle, no end, no suspense, no moral, no causes, no effects. What we love in our books are the depths of many marvelous moments seen all at one time. Slaughterhouse-5 is also a non-linear collection of moments. However, Billy's story does not dwell on many marvelous points in time, focusing instead on the traumas of war. In this sense, the non-linear structure depicts the disjointed, hopeless feeling of many war veterans facing PTSD. Their mood is reflected in a matter-of-fact syntax as well as the novel's structure. As the New York Times says, the short, flat sentences of which the novel is composed convey shock and despair.
In addition to war and PTSD, Slaughterhouse-5 grapples with themes of free will and humanity. When Billy Pilgrim is abducted by the Tralfamadorians, they tell him that free will is a human concept. Tralfamadorians see time like a stretch of the Rocky Mountains. According to the Tralfamadorians, every moment in time is occurring simultaneously. Therefore, all moments in time always exist. They have already happened and always will happen. This means that free will doesn't exist, as every action is predetermined. When they abduct him, the Tralfamadorians tell Billy that they have visited 31 inhabited planets in the universe and SETI reports on 100 more. Only on Earth is there any talk of free will. Though it's uncertain whether the Tralfamadorians are just a figment of Billy's imagination, he takes great comfort in the idea that humanity has no free will. attempting to spread the toilet plunger-shaped alien's message to the rest of humanity, with decidedly bad results. Free will, or the lack thereof, becomes an important motif in the book, with one recurring quote demonstrating it especially well. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to always tell the difference. Humanity keeps trying to tell the difference between what can be changed and what can't, while in Billy's world, and the world of Tralfamadore, nothing can be changed. Their belief in the lack of free will and the futility of trying to change the future stays with Billy and the Tralfamadorians until the end of their lives, or in some cases, the end of the universe. Billy has seen his death, a laser gun assassination, so when the time comes, he makes no attempt to flee the scene or prevent it from happening. The Tralfamadorians have seen the end of the universe, know that it's their spaceship repair that brings it about, and have accepted that as the ultimate unavoidable end. These philosophies parallel a sentiment expressed by a movie maker in Slaughterhouse-Five's opening chapter. There will always be wars, he says, and they are as easy to stop as glaciers. Wars are as impossible to stop to humanity as an assassination is to Billy Pilgrim, as the end of the universe is to Tralfamadorians. Kurt Vonnegut neither confirms nor denies the beliefs of the Tralfamadorians himself, but his book does provide a warning. If humanity continues to have a Tralfamadorian philosophy towards war, we may someday end up fighting so catastrophically that we tear our society apart, while still claiming the demise was inevitable. So it goes.
I would like to be a tiny stuffed seal.
Yeah.
I think it'd be nice.
Why is it so hard to push this stupid shit? It's like a weirdly weighted chair. You know, the spinning chair in the background. Oh my god, I'm dizzy. Oh god. Hey.
Why are you smelting?